You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Click live stream or watch us live on your smart television. YouTube, WCEG Network. I am Damita Chatman, your show host of Take a Stand for the next hour, where we speak life into the community, worldwide community empowerment group. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WCEG Talk Radio, at WCEG Network. Last but least, this is a disclaimer. The topic and opinions are those of the show host and guests and not WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support. Hello, everyone. Hello, Reverend Hill first, and then Minister Joe Flint. Thank you for coming today. And we're going to be talking about the politics and these elections that's coming up, and everything's off the table. Joe, what you think?
Listen, Damita, I know you city of South Fulton, but when I tell you that lady, I can't remember her name, that came after Kasim Reed the other day at that mayor's forum, that was enough for me. Told him that he was a liar. Told him, she said, what you want to be elected for again so you can lie some more? That's what she said to him at the forum the other day. So this thing is getting heated up. These politics is on point here in Atlanta right now, in the metro area.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. First, I'm gonna give Reverend Hill a chance to go and speak. He's down there from Wicks County, where he's running an election down there, and we know how it is down in that neck of the woods. So come on, Reverend Hill.
Thank you so much, Sister Chapman, for the opportunity to be with y'all today. Brother Joe, I'm waiting, can't wait to hear all that is going to be said today. Again, I'm Reverend Larry Hill. Penny Rogers and I went to school together, and things of that nature. So I am running for City Council seat, District 1 in Washington, Georgia. That's Wilkes County. I-20 East, just on the other side of Madison. And just like here in Atlanta, we have our ups and downs also there in Washington, Georgia. So a lot of things going on, and looking forward to discussing these matters.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna tell you, we got a race. We got some races here in the city of South Fulton, and I've heard people say that they ain't never seen nothing like this. And so right now they getting real down nasty and the ugly with the politics. So first, Joe, tell us, I'm gonna talk about our mayor race. We got a mayor race in the city of South Fulton. We got 4 people, and we only got one choice. And so that choice, and I'm gonna go on open and say it because I have endorsed him. The only choice we got is Bill Edwards. We can't go no other way. And so what I'm gonna tell folks is just vote, do the right thing, get out your feelings, do the right thing. And yes, Mayor, and Joe, you can probably help me with this. He was the commissioner. But what people don't understand, when you're on the commissioner, you had 7 votes back then, right? Mm-hmm. And you had 2 on the south side, right? Is that right, Joe?
That's exactly right.
And so I don't care what you say, if you ain't got but 2 votes on the south side and everybody else from Atlanta, it's always going to go Atlanta way if they want something. If I'm right, Joe?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, because I mean, it's very simple. The majority rules. And so if Atlanta is the where the bulk of the voters or the bulk of the vote is, then that's what's going to happen. And so that goes with any area. You know, we've talked about redistricting. We've talked about it in several aspects. Wherever the leverage is, that's where the votes are going to go.
Right. And so down here, where we have a strong council but a weak mayor, and that's in the charter. And so where our mayor is, he's really just the face of the city of South Fulton. Yeah. He can't vote. Only thing he do is veto. And I think when people understand the charter, then they'll understand how this thing flow. But when you got folks putting misinformation out, it confused the whole situation. Do
Well,
you agree,
Damita,
Joe?
here's a question for you concerning that. You know, is the charter public knowledge in South Fulton? I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely.
got you.
Absolutely. So I don't understand why folks just don't read the charter. It's just like the Bible. That charter, you can't take away and you can't add. The charter is just the charter.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. So I'm talk to Reverend Hill. Reverend Hill, tell me what's going on down there in Wilkes County with y'all election. I saw something about a flyer.
Yes, yes. And let me just add just a tidbit. You're absolutely right. The situation is similar in Washington, Georgia, as it is in South Fulton. We have a weak mayor system there. We have 6 city council seats, and the mayor, which in the case of a tie, the mayor breaks the tie, but
I think we lost you.
Listen, you got to know it's not a whole lot of service down there, Wilkes.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we'll get back him, and then we have like we have two we have District 2 in the city of South Fulton. We have District 4. We have District 5, and we have no District 5, and then we have District in the mayor's seat that's up. So right now we're in a heated battle. I think District 5 really don't have no confusion. District 2, it got real nasty, and unfortunately, I'm disappointed. But it is what it is. It's all politics, and it all be over Tuesday. I have endorsed a candidate in District 2, which is Mr. Robert Dawson. I stand behind my endorsement, and if Robert Dawson don't get across the finish line, then I will continue on doing what I have done before, is support the person that won. But what we have to realize is when the people speak, we have to listen, because what happened, Joe, tell me, I think sometimes when people get in office, they think the seat belongs to them. It's the people's seat.
Oh my God.
Do you agree?
Listen, we have seen that on a national level, and we've seen that, you know, here in Georgia with some of the leaders that have served us, you know, in Congress. And of course, we've seen it, you know, in the local government here in the metro area. And the unfortunate thing about Metro Atlanta and anything that's North Fulton or Fulton, if you are a child or a product of the civil rights movement here in the Metro Atlanta area, your name carries weight. And unfortunately, that name for some people means that you should serve office. That doesn't, to me, it doesn't mean that. But unfortunately, in our area, that seems to be the case. If you are a product of the civil rights era, your parent or somebody marched, then you should be elected to the city office. And unfortunately, that happens more often here in the Metro Atlanta area than probably anywhere in the nation. I do see, Damita, that we have Reverend Hill back. I think he can together now.
Reverend Hill, you come on back, Reverend Hill.
You got to watch that wind in Washington, Georgia. It'll blow too hard one way. Reverend Hill will get you.
yes.
Talk about that flyer, Reverend Hill.
Yes, the flyer again speaks to the piece where we have 6 city councilmen, and 2 of those seats at this particular time is like a rotating system, and 2 of those seats are up for grab this time in District 1. And when they put out the flyer, which said you can vote for 2 councilmen, or you don't have to vote for 2 councilmen. And so I just think that that's sending mixed signals.
I agree.
And I think it was done intentionally because of the system that we have set up here in Washington.
So, Reverend Hill, forgive me real quickly. So,
yes,
help us to go back to that flyer again. I'm sorry for cutting you off. So, there were 3 levels on that flyer. It said you can vote for 2. You don't have to vote for 2. And what was the bottom part? I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me now, but there was something else on the bottom. I think there were 3 sections of it. Am I correct?
What was the bottom section?
You are correct. And I don't have it before me, but there is 3 pieces on there.
If I can pull it.
Let me try to pull it up real quick here.
Why you pulling the flyer? Have you guys reached out to the Secretary of State regarding this flyer?
We did reach out to the Democratic Party attorneys, And
Okay.
her name is, well, our Democratic leader there in Washington is Kim Rainey, and she did an excellent job in getting on it. When I sent her the flyer, a picture of the flyer the other day, she got me the information. And so she went, through the change of command and getting us information saying that the registrar did not break the rule, but that he walked a thin line. And what I believe happened is it's confusing to the voters that yes, there are 2 seats that's available, but to say that you don't have to vote for one, but one if you don't want to, I think that's confusing. And I believe,
Reverend Hill, there are 2 people running in District 1? I got to tell you, I'm just so confused right now.
Yes, I'll ask the same question. Is it 2 people running?
okay, let me tell you, there are 3 people running for 2 seats.
Okay.
2 African Americans, one is myself, and the other one, Nathaniel Colors. And remember, this District 1, is 95% African American. And the third person running in this election is the Caucasian. And he is, there never been a Caucasian elected in District 1. So I think that the powers that be are trying to make sure that they confuse the voters by saying, yes.
So what are the offices that they're voting for? I guess that will make it better understood.
City Council seat, District 1, 2 seats.
So there are 2 seats in the City Council district.
One that is up for grab. Yes.
Really? Well, now maybe I got an Atlanta Public Schools education, Reverend Hill. So please forgive me. Not a Turner High education, but a Washington High education. So there are 2 seats in the city in District 1. So unlike Atlanta, District 1 is represented by 1 representative. So in Washington, Georgia, District 1 is represented by 2?
By 3 representatives. 3 representatives in District 1. In Washington, Georgia has 2 districts total. In District 1, you have 3 representatives of 3 seats. In District 2, you have 3 seats. And the mayor, in the case of a tie, breaks the tie. So they stagger the seats, the terms, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so now there are 2 seats up for election, but there are 2 African American and 1 Caucasian.
So you got 2 seats, but 3 people running, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So now this is me thinking. This is the way I think. What they're trying to do is, if one Black person get in there, they're gonna try to get the other one in there, and it'll be the other person in there besides 2. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So you saying it's 93%?
And so about 95% of the voters, of the residents in District 1 are African American.
So where did this other individual come from, Reverend Hill? Is he or she a part of the community? Have they done any community work? Do people know him or her?
Well, he been living there in Washington a long time, from what I understand. I've been there about 10 years, so he's been there. He have a practice there, and generally, from my understanding, is a good person. My concern is that this person running in a predominantly Black district, this Caucasian is running in a predominantly Black district, and for this, to me, this notice that is posted kind of confusing, and maybe I'm just on the short side.
It's confusing.
But
it's confusing.
Why would you say that there are? Why would you say that there are 2 seats? You can vote for 2 people, but you don't have to vote for 2 people. which just really kind of guiding the votes or kind of stirring the votes from what I think. And again, maybe I'm off course, but
So
again, we've never there in Washington, never.
It's the wording. It's definitely the wording for it. Because as I read it again, it says you can vote up to 2 people in District 1, but you don't have to vote for 2 people. You cannot vote for more than 2 people. Are the people in Wilkes County in Washington, Georgia confused about who they can vote for? Are they confused?
I think this flyer helped the confusion, but what is happening, I think the Caucasian community are saying, I know the Caucasian community are saying that you don't have to vote but for one person.
Yeah.
And just so happens one of the 2 African American voter candidates are controversial.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the 2 African American candidates are very controversial.
So let me ask you this, Reverend Hill. You saying that it's 93% that look like me down there in Wilkes County? That's correct.
Correct.
So I'm just gonna say this. You know, Black folks just got to stop being bamboozled over the wolves. They just got to stop. So if you got 93%, and do you know the voting population down there?
With an election like this, I was told, you know, when we're not having the president election, that these 2 seats, you may get 40% of the population in terms of voting. You may get
absolutely
40%.
Because it's not a presidential election. What y'all gonna have to do? You got today up into Monday night to go hit all them Black folk doors and tell them to get out and vote. And then with the young folks, you got to tell them they got to pull up the pants and put the blunts down for a few minutes and vote. That's what they're gonna have to do, because you can take it if it's 93%. Am I correct, Joe?
I agree, 93%, and they are familiar with you, Reverend Hill. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to take it.
Absolutely.
Hill, tell us about your platform. What is it that in District 1 that you're trying to get accomplished that has not been accomplished, and what is going on that you would like to see continued?
Well, one of the things that I have always endorsed is policing or public safety. About 4 years ago, the city of Washington voted, the city council voted, the mayor broke the tie to disband the police department. And so 90% of the crime are committed over in the African American community. And we do not have a police cities, MEAC cities, that has that sell power, that do not have a policing department. We depend on the sheriff. And I can't say anything bad about the sheriff department doing what they can throughout the county. But however, I think that we really need policing. We really need to really put dollars where our mouth is in terms of public safety. Our young people, what I mean by young people, our teenagers really do not have a structure in terms of job training, job skills, job opportunities. Most of those young people who wants to go and get job skills, job training, would either have to go to Augusta. So we need something like that. My platform is definitely policing, having something for our young teens, job skills and so forth and so on, but also with our seniors. We must take care of our most vulnerable citizen, and that's our seniors. Our seniors in the last 18, 24 months of this pandemic, the COVID and so forth, really have really been forgotten. In the city of Washington, I'm talking about myself, the city of Washington, because I am only one vote. We as a council and mayor have not voted one time to do anything that's going to help our seniors in terms of electric bills, in terms of trying to get them the basic necessities in their homes. Our seniors, just making sure that they are okay. We have not done that. And so we just really got, some real issues going on. And I think it lies, and I'm just laying it like it is. I think it lies between the black and white.
Yeah, clearly. Let me ask you, did you guys get the CARES Act down there? Reverend Hill? I think he froze. We'll go back to him. Did you hear that, Joe?
Well, the thing that kind of just threw me off was the fact that Reverend Hill mentioned, I seen he's back, but Reverend Hill mentioned that they voted a few years back to disband the police. Now, when you said that, Reverend Hill, I went and I looked up to see what the population is in Wilkes County. Now, as of 2019, the population was just under 10,000 people. But how big is the sheriff department in Wilkes County?
Well, Joe, Reverend, I don't know the numbers of the officers in the sheriff department. I can only guess, and I don't want to make a guess, but they have a 4 shift, 3 shifts, and it's.
So Joe, with the sheriff department handles evictions and so forth like that, correct?
That's what I understand about the sheriff's department.
So now he's handling, the sheriff department is handling the crime, the convictions. Reverend Hill, when y'all did that vote out there, you said it was 4 to 2? You muted.
Reverend.
Was it
okay.
was the vote 4 to 2 to dismantle the police department?
I believe the vote was 3-3, and the mayor broke the tie.
So the mayor voted in favor of that.
Yes, to disband the police department. And I'm going to come back and get correction, but that's what I said earlier. It's always a 3-3 tie. The black community, all city council leaders are always trying to get things for the black community, and the white city councils are always trying to keep things for the white community. And it sits in the mayor's seat, which is the state of Georgia, and job, I believe. And we've just got to get past a lot of things. But until we get to that point, we've got to start doing these things that are right for our community, our seniors, as well as our youth.
Well, Reverend Hill, what are you all doing as a council, though, to come together? Because I hear what you're saying. There's a division. There's, I may be quoting this wrong, but 3 black, 3 white, and that may not be right. But I'm hearing, there's one side that's, of course, for the black community, one side for the white community. But what is the council doing as a whole to come together to mesh the city? Is the council meeting at all, or are there conversations in the council to say, hey, let's do away with the concern or the background that we aren't working together? Is there such a thing happening, or no? Or is it just that every man for himself in the council there?
Well, Reverend, I put it like this. I have tried, and I know my colleagues, Maceo Mahoney as well as Nathaniel Cullors have tried, but it just seemed like the more we try, the worse it gets. And just to give you a little note on that, the MEAG meeting, or the MEAG conference, as well as the Georgia Municipal Conference this year, all 3 black council members attended those 2 conferences. Not one white council member attended the conferences. And so we are doing what we possibly can do to make things better. But however, when you're talking about budget, when you look at the budget, when you look at allocation of dollars, Washington, Georgia was allocated $1.2 million, the Rescue American Plan. Over $670,000, I believe, that has been awarded to Washington, and that money is sitting in an account, and they're trying to figure out what we can do with it. And the mayor and council have not had one meeting to talk about possibilities and what we need to do. So we really got problems.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a city that I heard appeared that the money sitting just sitting there and not going out to the people. Do you guys have a NAACP down there in Washington County?
Yes, Pastor Lance Pitts is our president of the NAACP here in Wilkes County. Yes.
What's the name of the church that he pastors?
That I pastor?
No, not you, Reverend here. Did you say Lance Pitts is a pastor down there?
Yes, I forget the names of the church. He pastored 2 churches in Washington, Georgia,
His
and
name
one
is
over
familiar.
in Oklahoma.
Yeah, his name is familiar. That's why I asked.
Okay.
Yes, Reverend Lance.
Okay, so I have a thing. See, sometimes and I'm not a preacher, so I might step on y'all toes. Sometimes preachers, they tend to dip in stuff that they don't supposed to dip in, but the stuff that they supposed to get into, they don't dip in that. So I have a problem with that. But we gonna be watching that, Reverend Hill. We're going to be
Yes.
getting with you, me and Joe, on those issues down there. But I think you guys should, if it's 93% of Black folks down there, y'all can take those 2 seats, but you got to work hard and you got to work together. The Bible said when y'all on the same page, you can get something done. But if y'all ain't on the same page, y'all ain't gonna get it done. But 93%,
Yes.
and this is a low turnout, Black folks got to stop being bamboozled and do what's right. I see a lot of bamboozling folks, you know what I'm saying? They like to hear the feel good.
Right.
So I challenge you to hit them doors. I mean, sometimes, it's all right for your camp to hit them doors, but let them see your face and you go and get them votes. I challenge you. You're going to be on the council, but you might have to work a little hard, but you can do it. Don't let nobody come into your city that don't represent you, because I'm quite sure if they get on the council, they're not going to represent you. We got a race right now going on up in my hometown, Lima, Ohio, where we have a Black a person is running for mayor, and we have a white lady that live down in Texas now, and is up there running for mayor, and they going along with the get along. But if we stick together, we can move mountains. And what I tell people is these local elections are very important. We
They're
tend
far more
to,
important.
yeah,
They're
we
far more
tend
important
to,
than the national election.
absolutely. So we're going to be watching your race and make sure that you get in there. I'm confident. The first time I met you, but that you'll get in there. Do you know Miss Helen Butler? Reverend Hill, you know Miss Helen Butler?
But look,
With the people, she's with the people agenda,
no,
right?
that name doesn't ring a bell.
Okay.
Helen, Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda. Reverend Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna be watching that.
I've heard
I
that name.
was about to say, she's from Madison. She's from Morgan County, and her brother was the president of the state NAACP before he passed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to be watching that, Reverend Hill. Thank you.
Okay.
Me and Joe we gonna get on back up here to thank you. We're gonna get on back up here to Atlanta, because we got some races in Atlanta, and I heard this morning that Felicia Moore is the front runner right now, but it's still undecided. So what you think? Do you think Felicia gonna cross the finish line?
Well, again, thank you, Reverend Hill, for coming. I just want to say
thank you so much.
But I want to say that I believe that she should be the one to cross the finish line. Atlanta is on a cusp of becoming, it's changing. Atlanta is changing, and it's been changing for maybe the past 20 years, really. I'd say 15 years, but for the past 20 years, we've seen Atlanta changing over and over again. And it's been a very small change. You'll see things happening in one community that's not happening in the other, and so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, Atlanta is changing, and change is needed. It's changing, and change is needed. And so I think it's time that we find someone else. Everybody knows, it's no secret that I don't support or believe that Kasim Reed should be the mayor again of the city of Atlanta. I didn't get to see the entire taping of that mayor's forum that took place over at I can't think of the name of the church, but it happened where Barbara King used to pastor. It was Hillside. The forum was there at Hillside, and before, and he made the statement, I got to go. I got to go. I got somewhere else I need to be. Granted, you might have had another, priority or something else you need to do, but in the middle of a question and answer forum, you don't do stuff like that. But that just speaks to his character. And that's the thing that I keep trying to get people to understand. This man is only about himself, and he only cares about his own platform and about him and what he looks like. And he keeps talking about what he's going to do for the city. But I can't tell you anything that he had done. Listen, well, I can tell you two things he done, but those two things were part of my team that made it possible for him to do that. He opened all the rec centers back up, and he hired new policemen, which were the top things. And those were things that were priority for Atlanta back in 2009 when he ran for mayor. But now, I mean, he needs to sit down and let somebody else do it. And I think Felicia, if anybody else, has a better ear to the ground of what's going on. Unfortunately, here's the problem, Damita. She doesn't have the big endorsements of Andrew Young or Shirley Franklin or the what do you call it? The unions. She don't have those large supports. And so, she's lagging in those areas, but she has the money. She's doing good with the fundraising. So I would hope, to answer your question, that she's able to pull through, especially over Kasim.
You know what, Joe? You really don't need that support. If she go out there and just do what she's supposed to do and talk to the people, I think that's what happened is we get these big wigs behind them to get these people in office, and really they don't really care about the people.
They don't.
They don't care about the people.
But Shirley Franklin is endorsing Andre Dickens. She don't care about anybody at the top of the ticket. Shirley Franklin, apparently, I always say when they go for somebody that's not at the top, they know something we don't know. So that's what I say. They know something.
So I do. Joe, I have a problem with that. Yeah. But hey, who is Damita Chatman? But what I'm finding out, even with the city of South Fulton races, you getting people that don't live here in these races, and they going behind. And at the end of the day, when the race is over, they gone on. They done made their money, and we still got to live here and be friends and live together. And it bring out so much hatred that you be like, where did that come from? Well, so what I tell people is,
what do you think? Do you think there's going to be in the city of South Fulton? Do you think there's going to be an issue of the vote, of splitting the vote? Do you think there's going to be an issue with the candidates that are there? Or do you think Edwards has enough pull to pull it all the way out at 50+1?
I'm hoping that the Bill Edwards pull it out 50+1, but you got 3 people in the race, so I'm quite sure that it will be a runoff, which I don't want it to be a runoff. But what we do is, what I've found out about people, we get amnesia. We forget about what took place, and we just get like amnesia. And no, you have to do what's right by the people. So I hope that it would be 51, but I think that's going to be a runoff. I think District 4, it got 4 people in the race. I think that's going to be a runoff. I think District 2 is going to be called Tuesday night. District 5 is going to be called Tuesday night. But then you got people that put people in the race so they can have that say so or that power. Again, where you're forgetting about the people. So it's going to be very interesting. What takes place in this race.
Damita, who are some of the, do you like I know for a fact, in Atlanta, there was a time that the Chamber of Commerce, was big pushing and funneling.
Well, right now you got, I think I don't know too much if the Chamber is doing it, but you got a bunch of, and I don't want to call them out. You got a bunch of preachers now that's getting behind candidates. Some of them don't know. I think it's wrong. If you don't know the person, You don't be influenced by what folks tell you. You got to know the record.
Yeah.
So you got I heard you got preachers right now that is out here, and it's all about the money.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
It's
So
what
what
are you
I
gonna do
tell,
for me? What are you
pardon
gonna
me?
do? It's what are you gonna do for me?
Absolutely. So it's
Yeah.
always an agenda. But at the end of the day, what I tell them, when I pay my taxpaying dollars down here, I don't like none of y'all. When it come to my tax, I don't like none of y'all. I hold all of you accountable.
Yeah.
And that's what we supposed to do, is hold people accountable. Have City of South Fulton done great things? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that it need to be changed? Absolutely. Now we can't forget, folks now they talk about, well, the good things. You cannot forget what happened in 2019,
Right.
the trial that tried to get rid of
Right.
the city council and the mayor that the taxpayers had to pay for. You can't forget that. You can't forget about city council tried to get rid of what they did. They got rid of the black judge.
Yeah.
And then she ran also for a superior judge against the other side. And it bothered me because our folks went out and rallied with the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But folks don't forget, them folks don't come down on the south side but to go on a vacation and to make money at the courthouse and to go to the airport. They don't care what goes on down here the south side until it's election, and they come down here, give the folks a little piece of chicken and give them some food, and then they all right. We got to stop being sellouts, because one thing about it, and Joe tell me, they're going to stick together no matter what. You see it with 45. 45 can come and tell them it's raining on them, and they know it ain't raining, but what they gonna say, Joe? It's raining. So what we got to do, we got to stop being so hard on our people, and we have to stick together as a race of people, because at the end of the day, all of the ones that came down here and got them votes during those elections last year, you have not seen not one of them down here in the city of South Fulton. You will not see them until the next election. And it kills me when our black preachers sell us out for the white folks. It is what it is. They sell us out.
Well, but Damita, again, it goes back to that. What can you do for me?
Absolutely.
What offered to me, and we see that in all of the, in the endorsements from certain people. And again, certain endorsements are just that they are what's the word I want to use? Symbolic. Some endorsements are symbolic.
Yes, some.
There are other endorsements that make a huge difference. And you see it when it comes from, like you said, it comes from the people who have no true value or input into that area, but because it's going to benefit somebody who's lining their pockets,
absolutely,
jump right into it and do so. What I can't seem to understand, kind of going back to what you said about sticking together, is, and I've said this for years concerning parties as a whole. If I can't say anything else, if I can't say anything good about the Republican Party, I can say this: they are always on one accord.
Absolutely.
Even though the Tea Party was a split from them, the Tea Party still. What do you hear about the Tea Party now? Nothing.
Nothing.
They brought them right back into the fold as they should in the first place. You had some disgruntled folks, but guess what? That disgruntled got worked out in the back room somewhere that you didn't know anything about, that the American people didn't know anything about. And now you don't hear anything about the Tea Party. That's because they immediately find a way to work together to keep it together. And it's unfortunate. Absolutely. It's unfortunate that the Democratic Party is so divided. But here's the thing that nobody ever wants to address. The Democratic Party is divided more so because of color. It is divided more so because of color than any other thing. And we, especially the African-American race in the Democratic Party, that's one of our problems. Like you said, the black preachers will start peddling for these white folks who will come because they Democratic. But, they'll forget about the black Democrats in the area. And I'm not saying that you should vote somebody based on color, because I don't believe that.
Right.
Vote on somebody based on party. But that's what happens in the Democratic Party. It's divided, and nobody ever wants to admit that, but it's divided, racially divided as well, amongst black, whites, and every other nationality that falls into it, because we've seen it right here in the state of Georgia, where the Democratic Party doesn't even support the people who you know would make the difference, but because they do some backdoor stuff on their own. So it's unfortunate. But I will say that Republican Party, the Conservative Party, boy, I don't know what kind of Kool-Aid they drink, and I don't know where Jim Jones at, but he got them drinking.
Yes, he did. And Joe, what it is now, we have an opportunity to do the right thing and make it right. Yeah. But we so caught up into the different issues. I'm gonna give you a good advice. When the DA was running,
where's she at now?
District DA Fonnie Willis.
Oh, I know.
Okay. People attacked her, I say, because she was a woman.
Yeah.
And because she was endorsed by the police union. Am I correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I remember that.
But right now, she's out in the front doing certain things. Everything right now is real quiet. I think she's doing an awesome job. She got served a platter, which she got served, so she got to undo that.
Yeah, she got some work to do.
And she got some work to do. But do we beat her up? No, we get behind her because right now she's in that office. But
Damita, that's too much like right. It's too much like right because the personal issues that we have, and I'm talking about the candidate, but the personal issues, races in the metro area in Georgia.
I lost your voice. What happened, Joe? Joe, I can't hear you. I can't hear none. I didn't get none you said. But yeah, we have to stick together. Yes.
I'm sorry. We had a power outage here shortly ago, so I don't know if they're still working on it. But what I was saying is that the people, the races become such a personal vendetta against each other, and they miss the people, the citizens who elect them to serve. It becomes a personal thing. It becomes an individual issue, and it's no longer protecting the people that live in the counties or the cities that represent them. It's so sad, but I can't say that there's any representative right now that I know is truly speaking for the citizens of their area. I just don't see that happening much anymore. You have to speak as a whole for the community, but more often than never, Damita, these individuals are running for these offices and taking everything personal. And they're taking that, the issue becomes a personal thing and not a community thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think if we get back, I say this all the time, everybody that in office is not a servant. You got to have a servant heart. And I mean, you got to be ready for what you do. And it can't be taking photo shots. And I'm not saying everybody like that. So I don't want nobody to come at me, because if you come at me, I'm coming back. What is, we got to serve the people, because right now the people is lacking. They're lacking. It's just like the churches. You gonna follow. If you paying the most money, that's who folks that's gonna be the ones gonna be patronized.
I see it all the time.
Little Joe ain't gonna get it. You see what I'm saying? So you see that in politics.
Yeah.
And then what happens are people begin to I guess what I want to say, they get worried because see who's speaking up for us.
Right. I talked about yesterday, Damita, I had to preach at a church over in Lakewood, and it was Deacons and Men's Day, and I focused on the scripture was 1 Peter 4:10, and it was talking about gifts, and I focused on stewardship, what it means to be a good steward. And I outlined 5 proponents of being a good steward, and one of the things, if more than anything else, that a good steward needs to do is listen. And quite often our leaders are not listening. They're not listening to the people. in their community. They're not listening to the ones that need the help. They're listening to themselves and to the people that are providing them the money. You know, you said it over and over again, and I've said it, and we hear it everywhere. Follow that money. When we see where that money is going for that candidate, we'll see where the issues focus for that candidate are. Because when the money is driving the issues, that's what we see in the candidates, and we see whether or not the communities are being taken care of. Again, I said this, I think last time we were talking, as I ride through the city of Atlanta, when I'm in Atlanta, and I'm looking at the communities for which I grew up and I'm riding around, I don't see any. I can tell you right now, I believe it's District 10 is where my grandparents live. That lady has been, Joyce Shepherd has been the city council member over there for years. And Stewart Avenue, where Metropolitan, they got nothing new, nothing done over there, but they raised the sidewalk. That's all they did. There's nothing to eat over there. There's nothing over there. There are no restaurants there, nothing. But you all keep wanting people to elect you, but what are you doing in the community? It's you know, and I know this is the same thing in the city of South Fulton when it comes to businesses. You know, one of the things that you all, every time I speak to a representative from the area, one of you all's elected officials, everybody's always talking about businesses. Granted, I know the city is a new city, but businesses can easily be attracted that way. But what are you doing to invite the businesses in? What is the elected council doing to invite more businesses in? Who's endorsing them? Who's putting money in their pocket to get another warehouse rather than a 5-star restaurant?
I say all the time, follow the money. You know, if you want to know why your elected official ain't doing what they supposed to do, just go get those disclosures. Those disclosures gonna tell it all. I've got, look, let me tell you, I've gotten people disclosure and it leaves my mouth open.
Yeah.
It leaves my mouth open because they're pouring that money in. You know, we're sitting 4 years, and this is the crown jewel. I think we're gonna be all right, but it's time for us to stop the foolishness and do what's right by the people. Yeah. You know, I don't like a lot of showboating. I just don't like a lot of showboating. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And I don't like folks to talk outside their mouth either. You say one thing in public and you get behind them closed doors and say something else. I don't like that. I believe if you believe in that we got big potholes, you just say we got some potholes.
That's it.
Don't dress it up.
Yeah, now fix it.
Because, you know, down here, I believe, you know, and I always hear people say, well, the north side and the south side, I believe that we deserve just as much as the north side, but we also, as people, we got to do our part too.
That's the answer right there, Damita.
We got to do our part.
You can complain all day about what we don't have, but if we aren't doing our part, if we aren't coming to the meetings, if we aren't pushing for the information,
absolutely,
pushing for the funding, then what can we do?
Yeah, you got to come to the meeting. You got to hold them accountable. Yeah. You got to make sure address the issues. But if you ain't doing nothing but staying at home, getting behind the keyboard, that don't mean nothing because they already know what you're gonna do. You know, it was a time that I would go to a meeting and they would say, "Here she come again. Here she come again."
Yeah.
And so I began to be a thorn in their side. But I tell them all the time, when we pay our tax dollars, I don't care about none of it. That go from the mayor all the way down to the trash company. I don't care about none of you.
My tax dollars make it possible for me to come here and raise all kind of sand because because my tax dollars are paying your salary. So I need to know what you're doing. I need to know.
Absolutely. So with these races, early voting gonna end October the 29th.
That's this Friday.
Election is gonna be November the 2nd. My prediction, and my prediction might be wrong, I don't know, but my prediction is that Bill Edwards gonna be the mayor, even if he go into the runoff, because the choices that we have, we just don't have no good choices. It's simple as that.
I definitely see him being able to pull it off. I see him being able to pull it off. And if for nothing else, let me say this. I always say this about anybody who's in office. If you started a lot of stuff, I need you to see it through. I need you to see it through. Whatever you started, I need them to see it through. I realize that term limits do exist, but whatever you started, I need you to be able to see it all the way through. So, you know, I'm sure that there's some initiatives that Mayor Edwards has begun. And, you know, in my opinion, the city is still too fresh to elect somebody else new. Give the current mayor an opportunity to, you know, continue the initiatives. And if by the end of their second term, you know, he's accomplished and done what you all see fit, then give somebody else a chance. But I do believe that the city of South Fulton is too new of a jewel in order to just change hands all too quickly.
Now I got a question in the chat, and this is what somebody just sent me, and I kind of agree with that. They're so busy trying to keep their jobs that they're not doing their job. That's a question somebody. So I'm gonna drop the mic on that one, because they might be true. But what is in the elections, Joe? I think when going forth, looking at the races now, we have to stop the pettiness, and we need to stop putting these folks up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And hold them accountable. What I found out now is, if I got a friend over here, if I got an organization over here, and they know they ain't doing nothing, but they're gonna vote for them just because they are a friend, a part of an organization.
Right.
You're just like 45. You're just like 45 now.
Right.
So I think we just need to do the right thing about the people.
Right.
I'm not saying that they ain't good people, but sometimes, you know, the Bible says when your season is up, your season is up. And sometimes everybody just ain't cut out for it.
Well, and that's the thing, Damita. You know, there are, and I can't think of the name of the commission, but there are groups out that, you know, that help, get people prepared for public office and things of that nature. But there are some people that just don't need to serve. And unfortunately, you know, we give everybody an opportunity to serve just because they own a business. Just because you own a business don't mean that you are fit to.
You didn't. Your internet, it went out again, Joe. Your power went out again. But I believe that.
Just because somebody has a business or served as an administrator somewhere doesn't mean that they deserve to serve as a city council person or a mayor. And we got to stop electing people for that reason. Just because they you know, anybody can clean up the street, but does that mean that you're able to lead? I mean, everybody's not intended to do that. So
and another thing, Joe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. What else? What I'm seeing is what people do. Those folks say all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. And I'm watching how folks will take folks' money and they'll put them up on a pedestal, and just as soon as Blow or Billy Bob get them another extra $100, they gonna tear this person down. And then go. I think that's, you know, money shouldn't buy. You know, like listen, again, all money ain't good money. And if you got to sell yourself out for a few dollars, I don't want it. I just don't want it.
When we talk about money in elections, I always think back to Cynthia McKinney and Denise Majette. You know, I think about how they poured money into that Denise Majette woman to get Cynthia McKinney out of office. And now Denise Majette is nowhere to be found. They did that to change the vote or to swap the votes to get the people that they needed to get to serve on her side. And they do it all the time. They do it all the time. And it's so unfortunate. So unfortunate.
Yeah. So I think we as Democrats or just people, we need to sit down and have a plan, a real plan. Because see, if we don't get this thing right now, Joe, and it's gonna start on the local level. If we don't get it right now, you can rest assured the Republicans is gonna take over the next election. And you talking about a mess, we gonna have a mess because they already got it planned. They want all of us to go back to the cotton field. They ain't said it, but that's what they want us to go back to the cotton field. So it's right now we have the opportunity to do it right on the local level.
Right.
We just have to get together, stop all the crab biting, because I know folks, they didn't call me, Joe, and they didn't say this person need to get off, this need to be out of office, this person, and 2 days later, oh, that's a good person, or they don't need to be.
Yeah.
Either you're good
Yeah.
or you're not.
Yeah.
And so we have to, the voters going to have to take a stand. And then when these folks get in office, if they ain't doing the right thing, we need to get them out of office.
It's that simple. It's
just simple as that.
We give time and time again to people, like I said, in the metro Atlanta area, if your parent or somebody served in the civil rights movement or walked or did something in Atlanta, you almost a shoe-in. And we keep elected people in the metro Atlanta area, especially in Atlanta, simply because they were part of civil rights. People hate to hear me say it. I love them and respect them for the remainder of my life. And let me say this these are the views of Joe Flint and not WCEG. But I cannot tell you what John Lewis had done in the last 10 years before he left. I don't know. I don't know what he'd done. Now, there might be something that I missed, but everybody, my thing is everybody is always just banking on the fact of somebody's name. And those names don't always mean progress. And that's an unfortunate thing. That's an unfortunate thing.
Well, Joe, I'm going to tell you, I'm not from here, but he lived over in the Sandtown area.
He stopped living there a long time ago to me.
Right. Well, he had a house over there. And if you went down through the Sandtown area, down Camerton Road, you hit potholes and everything.
And listen, the house been boarded up long before he died. He had not lived in that house in a while, but let me Hirsch. Let me stop somebody get me.
So sometime I think we tend to put people up on a pedestal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I don't like putting nobody up on a pedestal because the old folks say you put them on the shelf, surely they're gonna fall off the shelf. And you give credit where it's due. If you ain't done nothing, you just ain't done nothing.
That's the bottom line.
Just simple as that.
That's the bottom line.
Just simple as that. Before we go. It's just like I saw Kasim Reed getting in the car one day, leaving the debate, and them folks had umbrellas like he was a god. Did you see that?
Damita, had I saw it, I'd have knocked him down. I'm just gonna be honest.
I was like, well, my land. And then another thing, Joe, tell me how you feel about this, because somebody sent me a text. How you feel about elected officials running for our communities, going back into their big houses and driving their Bentleys and don't come out to see us until election? How you feel about that?
I'm over it. I've been over it a long time. And listen, they're going to drive the car that they want the public to see, but you're not going to see them in that car. You
better say that.
Yeah, they're going to drive the one they want the public. I know I've seen it all too often. I've seen representatives who have union cars, American-made cars, but then when you go into their driveway, they got foreign cars sitting up under that garage. So I know I can't stand it. I can't stand it at all. I'll never forget. And I know we got to go, but the unions back in 2009 were they were supporting then candidate Reed. And he came up on union property, the IBEW building, came up in his Range Rover. And all those people were so mad at him because, they had the United Workers of America, the IBEW people, what is it? I can't think of the Teamsters, all these people were supporting him, but he come up here in a foreign vehicle. Oh, they were so mad at him.
Oh, I can imagine.
Mad.
Let me tell you, and when I lived out in California and I worked in and lived around the Asians and the Japanese and stuff, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. When they work in our community, they gonna drive. They don't drive none but them foreign cars. They gonna drive their old beat up Toyota. But when they go back, they gonna have their nice cars. They just come in and sell us the hair and cook and do the chicken wings in the fish markets. That's how it was out there in California. They own everything. Tell me I'm wrong.
Same thing here. Here.
So we just have to we just can't be bamboozled as a race of people. This is our opportunity. Joe, I want to thank you for coming out today on the show. Again, I want to thank Reverend Taylor. Isn't it Reverend Hill? I'm sorry, Reverend Hill for coming, and we'll watch his election out there. But again, when we have the majority we can do what we need to do. We just have to put the pettiness down and do what's right for the people. It's all about the people. It ain't about me or Joe. It's about the people, because at the end of the day, the people is the one that elected you in these offices, and they're the ones can get you out. Again, I want to thank you. Joe, you want to say something before we
Just
got
real
10
quickly,
seconds?
ladies and gentlemen, join us on next Monday, November 1st for the People's Choice with me, yours truly, your host, Joe Flint, as we narrow down the countdown for the election and follow up the following week as we will didact what took place in the election. Thank you, Damita, for always having me. It's always a joy to come. You look mighty good in your blue, by the way. I want you to know.
Oh, thank you. Well, you told me to wear the blue, so I put it on. You told me your color was blue. I want to thank you. I'm looking forward to election night. We're going to be watching that, and we'll get what we're going to, if we're going to be doing anything. But next week is our election, so please go out and vote for your candidate of your choice. My choice might not be your choice. Just vote, and whoever get in office, we're going to continue on to supporting them and making sure you hold them accountable. Again, the city of South Fulton election is very important. You got a race in 2, 4, and 5 in the mayor's race.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.